Well, somebody by the name of Rick Peterson. Don't know who he is, but he's been, I guess, watching a few of my videos. And he came across this editorial, posted it in my comment section. Unfortunately, because it had a URL in it, my YouTube channel kind of stripped it. I could have gone in and found it. I just went ahead and just pasted it in anyway. I thought I'd read it. Thanks, Rick. This is actually a pretty good article. Actually, it's a pretty crappy article, but I'm glad you brought it up because it shows the idiocy of those who we face. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
All right. The article is in some page called Crooks and Liars. Yeah, liars. Yeah, you could not have found a more appropriately named web page here. But at any rate, the headline, Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyers, vile excuse, a license to hunt. And just from the headline, you know you're talking about somebody who has not a freaking clue as to what's going on in the trial. But here we go. Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay, this article is by Rebekah Sager. Let's read this. How do we begin to unpack the sheer caucasity, of arguing that the little vigilante and darling of the far right, Kyle Rittenhouse, who is charged with fatally shooting 2 men and injuring another, was legally allowed to carry an AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle to a protest in Wisconsin last year because he has a certificate to hunt? Are you kidding me? No, he does not have a certificate to hunt. Nobody on either side of the courthouse aisle thinks he had a certificate to hunt. Why are you claiming he does? Under Wisconsin law, oh brother, there are certain training and supervision requirements for anyone 16 years or younger in order to possess a gun for hunting. Well, Kyle is 17, so okay. The law does not outline limits for people over 16. That's interesting. Rittenhouse was 17 when he drove himself from his home in Antioch, Illinois, to Kenosha, Wisconsin on August 25th, 2020. I don't think he drove himself. I think his mother took him to Kenosha the night before the riots. I don't think he had a license to drive at that time, at least not a valid one. In his mind, he went to patrol the city and protect businesses during protests that followed the police shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man who was shot 7 times by a white police officer, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. Okay, at least that's factually correct. There appears to be an exception for 17-year-olds, defense attorney Corey Sharafazi said, according to the Chicago Tribune. Prosecutors were outraged by the hunting defense and pointed to another Wisconsin law that clearly states that no one under 18 may possess a dangerous weapon. That's not a different Wisconsin law. It's the same law. The crime of carrying a gun under 18 is a misdemeanor charge that comes with 9 months of jail time and a $10,000 fine. Well, no, those are maximum sentences. Most likely, Kyle would probably get probation. They can submit evidence that the defendant had a certificate to hunt and he was engaged in legal hunting on the streets of Kenosha that night, Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger said. I don't think they really want to do that. Right, and they didn't. They don't want to do that, and in fact, it's exactly opposite to their argument. They're claiming that Kyle was not hunting that night. According to the New Yorker, Rittenhouse traveled to Kenosha after seeing a post calling for armed citizens to protect our lives and property. That's a lie. At no point has Rittenhouse claimed he went to Kenosha because he read that post. And inviting patriots to meet at the Kenosha courthouse to defend the city from evil thugs, with a gun illegally purchased for him by a friend that hasn't been adjudicated yet. He volunteered to guard a used car dealership. Videos from the night of the shooting show that several protesters attempted to disarm Rittenhouse, who fatally shot Joseph Rosenbaum, then Anthony Huber, and seconds later Gage Grosskreutz, prosecutors said. It makes it sound like he showed up, and then a bunch of guys saw him and said, hey, let's disarm him. That's not exactly what happened. The hearing, just 3 weeks ahead of Rittenhouse's scheduled November 1st trial, also included testimony from Dr. John R. Black, a self-defense expert who argued that Rittenhouse shot each man in order to protect himself and not allow his gun to be taken from him. Well, that's true. Okay. I do believe Rittenhouse's actions, were reasonably necessary, Black said, according to the Tribune. Black testified that videos show Rosenbaum chased Rittenhouse and attempted to grab his gun. Huber attacked Rittenhouse with a skateboard and also tried to wrestle the gun away from him. And Grosskreutz ran at him holding a handgun. She's starting to at least hit on some points here that are somewhat accurate. A citizen in that position, given those indicators, would it be reasonable for them to believe they were about to be assaulted, Black said. I would argue yes. So now we're all meant to think that Rittenhouse was the victim here. Well, okay, if the evidence points to that, sure. Well, he is considered a hero by some. The Proud Boys have rallied behind him. Oh, I see. So we can't claim that he's a victim because certain people claim that he's a victim. So if the Proud Boys claim that somebody's a victim, then he can't be. Trump himself has refused to decry his actions because it would have been inappropriate for him to do so. It was a potential crime still under investigation. Trump actually said the right thing. I'm not a Trump fan, but he was absolutely right when he said that, hey, it looks like self-defense, but, whatever. Barack Obama didn't do that. And in fact, Barack Obama got himself into a lot of trouble because he came to the side of one or the other without having all the evidence in front of him. And throwing white supremacist hand signs have flooded the internet. One of Rittenhouse's former attorneys, Lynn Wood, is a devout conservative and Trump supporter who once tweeted that President Trump won re-election by a landslide. Oh, okay, I get it now. Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty because his former lawyer defended Trump. His account is now suspended by, his account's suspended by Twitter. Therefore, we know that Kyle is guilty. In all, Rittenhouse has raised $2 million for his defense, largely from conservative and alt-right organizations, Mother Jones reports. Kyle Rittenhouse has to be guilty now because the people who donated to him have certain political leanings. As for the hunting to get out of jail free card, Kenosha County Circuit Judge Bruce Schroeder denied the motion to drop Rittenhouse's weapons possession charge, saying that state statutes were unclear and that he wanted to review the laws and could revisit the matter later. That's right. Rittenhouse is charged with homicide, attempted homicide, and being in minor possession of a firearm. He's pleaded not guilty. Okay, the fun is in the comments section. Let's read these. All right, to live is to fly, or to live is to fly. He lives in Illinois. So does he have an out-of-state hunting license from Wisconsin? And WTF, season is open in August. Again, they think that Kyle is claiming he was hunting. He was not. He is claiming nothing of the sort. And yeah, you can have an out-of-state hunting license. It's common. I had one in Texas. What are people in Illinois legally allowed to hunt? What are people in Illinois legally allowed to hunt with an AR-15? That is not a hunting rifle. Oh, bullshit. You can ask a million hogs out there that have been shot with an AR-15. And in fact, the AR-15 for something like a hog is a very good gun. In fact, it may be the best rifle there is for hunting hogs. Apparently, they're allowed to hunt black people. Wait a minute. Kyle didn't shoot anybody black. And in fact, All those mass murders you hear about with the AR-15, very few of them involved black victims. So what the hell is with this black folk thing? In fact, in some areas, black folk are always in season. Yeah, and who's shooting them? Other black people. And I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but it's absolutely true. And it's unfortunate there are so many young black kids that are raised to believe that their real fear should be from police. If they're going to get killed, it's going to be usually by somebody they know, and it's usually a friend or somebody in their neighborhood. And it's really unfortunate that so many of them have been misled on this. If you are being raised, especially in a high poverty, high crime neighborhood, you have to be careful of your friends. They're the ones that get you. It's not the police. It's total BS. The lawyers know this kid is a cash cow. They're fundraising off him like crazy. That's why he keeps losing lawyers. They just grab the money and run. Oh, good Lord. Nobody's making that accusation about Mark Richards or Sharapacy. Correction. He didn't drive himself to Kenosha. His mommy proudly drove him there with his weapon of mass destruction, the weapon of choice for mass murderers. And again, I always bring this up. Here's Wendy Rittenhouse driving, and Kyle's got his rifle in the passenger seat. It didn't happen. The gun was already in Wisconsin. She didn't even know he was going to the protests with it. Now, if this were Texas and mommy had driven him somewhere to get an abortion, she could be sued. Oh, don't bring abortion into this. Don't bring Texas into this. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That he was in possession of the gun illegally pretty much makes everything he did with it illegal. As I make note in my other video, wait until the Crystal Kaiser case comes out. When she used a handgun to defend herself, that's her claim, against a white male rapist. And guess what? This argument is all of a sudden going to be forgotten. Fruit of the poisonous tree sort of thing. Yeah, that's not what that means. The fruit of the poisonous tree refers to a Fourth Amendment violation. Doesn't have anything to do with this. Had he not had the gun, he wouldn't have shot anyone. Oh boy, yeah, no kidding. Gee, no shit. What kind of argument is that? I mean, you could put anybody away, self-defense or not, with that argument. I'm claiming self-defense. Well, what did you use to defend yourself? I used a gun. Oh, well, if you didn't have the gun, you wouldn't have shot the person. So you're guilty. Yeah. That she also bought for him. Oh, now they have Wendy Rittenhouse buying the gun for him. Actually, according to the one article, she was aghast when she found out that he had bought an AR-15. Her fawning over this wretched thing, yeah, it's his mother. Reminds me of the impassioned speech Derek Chauvin's mom gave at the sentencing about what a fantastic person he was. Well, yeah, that's because they're the mother. They're supposed to. That's their job. We need to look at how these good white American women are raising their sons. Having the tools openly available for any nut with a credit card is a big reason guns get into unstable hands. Well, we're going to start up a gun control argument with that one. I'll leave that one alone. That is not a hunting weapon. Oh, BS. It's a very good one, actually. That is a military-grade weapon meant for killing the enemy, or in other words, other human beings. I've seen some AR-15s that are definitely not military-grade weapons. Well, it does do away with the need for skill and marksmanship, doesn't it? Well, I don't know. Ask any soldier. I keep asking myself about these people who are out to protect buildings and stuff. Is that not the job of the police? No, it's not. Those are private buildings. The police are not private security. They will not defend it for you. Did the police ask him to join in and help? Oh, don't open that can of worms. Apparently, the police kind of did. Did the police offer to give him a radio to report any crime that he saw happen? A radio? What is this, 1984? Is he going to pull out a ham radio and da 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 all night? No, da 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 da. You know, is that what he's expecting to do? We have phones now. Was he invited to attend meetings to discuss the plans to protect things? If not, then why was he there, and why was he allowed by the police to walk around with a weapon in full view? Let's see here. These meetings, let's take this seriously, okay? There were, I guess, some meetings that were held to discuss the plans to protect things, and they were very effective. Oh, yeah. All the things that night in Kenosha were protected. Nothing was burned. Nothing was harmed. No, you say the people who have to protect and serve on the side of their vehicles don't really mean literally, and you say, look it up, bull. Why don't you at least state the name of the Scottish case where that was a ruling? Same for rooftop Koreans, whatever TF that is. Where is that from, too? It's from Los Angeles. It was during the riots. Some Koreans were on top of roofs protecting their businesses, and that's where it comes from. As far as the SCOTUS case, I don't remember the name of it, but there was a SCOTUS ruling that basically said that the police don't have to protect and serve you. It's not quite that simple, but for the most part, yeah. And Wisconsin may be open carry, but you can't open carry if you're not legally old enough to be in possession of what you're openly carrying. Well, of course, but it has not yet been decided whether he was old enough. I guess that part of the trial they kind of forgot. He's also white. Oh, hell. Can you imagine how long he would have been able to walk around freely with an AR-15 if he was black? Oh, I don't know. The Not Freaking Around Coalition does it all the time. They shoot themselves once in a while, but they do carry openly, and they're black. Rittenhouse was 17 when he drove himself from his home in Antioch, Illinois, to Kenosha, Wisconsin, on August 25th, 2020. Actually, I think his mother drove him, but it was the night before, or maybe even 2 days before, I forget. From reading the news, I was under the impression that it was his mom that drove him to Kenosha. Well, she drove him, but not to the protests. She drove him to Kenosha because he had a job there, and he was going to clean graffiti at the high school. Or at least that's what I've heard. What was he hunting in the city that required such a weapon? Bears, boars, wolves, mountain lions? He wasn't hunting anybody. He was protecting property. The police carry guns, and they're not hunting people. Oh, no, I know what they're saying. Yeah, they are. They're hunting black people. No, they're not hunting people. I mean, I carry a gun. I'm not hunting anyone. Never have shot anyone, and I've carried a gun for a long, long time. He was hunting liberals. Oh, I'm not going to go there. Is hunting within the city limits even allowed? Oh my God. If he was hunting people, I don't think that the fact that it was in the city limits is a big deal. Oh, man. I'm not going to read the first sentence. Under what authority was this little prick doing this stupid shit in Kenosha? You don't have to have authority. Can you imagine how many people this little homicidal maniac SOB would kill if he were put out on the streets again? Yeah, I can guess. None. None. Okay, at any rate, there are more comments there I could read all night. You get the impression. A bunch of morons. They don't know what happened. They have almost no understanding of the laws, what took place. They're guessing, and They're assuming, and they're assuming based purely on their political persuasions. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.